I read a book at that point by Carl Jung, and Carl Jung was a contemporary of Freud's. He also, but unlike Freud, who was an avowed atheist, Jung was a deeply spiritual man. Jung wrote this book called Synchronicity, where he talks about these coincidences that happen in our daily lives. And, you know, all of us have these things happen to us where you're maybe talking about somebody that you haven't thought about for 20 years, and all of a sudden the phone rings and that person's on the line. And Jung considered those interventions by God who would break his own rule, defy the laws of percentages, defy the laws of chance, and come in and tap us on the shoulder and say that I'm here. He actually tells a story in this book of a patient. He ran the biggest sanitarium in Europe, in Zurich. He talks about a patient, a female patient, who was sitting on a couch talking to him about a dream she had. And in the dream, the fulcrum of the dream, the subject is a scarab beetle. And the scarab beetle is a very common piece of iconography that's on the hieroglyphics in Egypt and on the tombs and the obelisks. But they don't exist in Northern Europe. And he was in Zurich, and he hears this bing, bing, bing on the window behind him, and it irritates him, but he doesn't want to take his attention off the patient by seeing what it is. And ultimately, he stands up in exasperation. He throws the window open, and a scarab beetle flies in and lands in his palm. And he shows it to this woman, and he said, "Is this what you were dreaming about?" And those kind of things happen to him all the time. But having seen tens of thousands of patients come through his facility, he said, I can prove that people who believe in God get better faster and that their recovery is more durable and enduring. And for me, that was more impactful than if he said he had proved the existence of a God, which I wouldn't have believed. I made an intellectual decision. I'm going to start believing in God. And then I'm faced with the dilemma that everybody who makes that commitment has, which is how do you start believing in something that you can't see or smell or touch or taste or acquire with your senses? And Jung solves that problem. And he says, you fake it till you make it. You act as if, and that the compliance will precede the evidence. You will see the evidence and it will be overwhelming.